Well, when the game of basketball was invented, the idea was just to put the ball through the hoop. And we're not doing that very well at all. I don't know if today is a carryover from some of our timing and stuff in preseason, or if it's a little bit of opening day jitters. It's certainly a bunch of unfamiliarity, but we're missing shots that I would think we would make a fair amount of. And when you hold another team to under 37% and, you out rebound them and, you force as many turnovers as we did. I mean, we got 12 more field goal attempts than them, but you shoot 25%, you have no chance to win. It's that simple. And, it doesn't matter. We can go up and down the list. There's not very many people that shot the ball well, except Erica McCall, I think. That's probably the only one. And so, we just got to go back and make shots more than anything else right now. Questions?
Gene.
Hey, Mike, obviously you only do what you can do with so many players unavailable, but how much of what happened today can be attributed to kind of the fluidity, having to adjust all the time and, players who aren't available for different reasons?
Yeah, I mean, it's been hard. And I think that, we have one player in the starting lineup, two players, in Ariel and Leilani, who played for us in the bubble in our starting lineup. And, Tina's trying to get used to her teammates. They're trying to get used to her. I think we got her enough field goal attempts, but it was a little bit of a struggle. They look like a team that's been together more and has practiced more together. And it showed. The lack of rhythm and lack of familiarity is a problem right now. But I still don't, think we can excuse missed layups for that part of it anyway.
Your thoughts on Tina's debut?
Mixed. She made a few normal ones. I mean, she saw some double teams. I'm sure she'll be disappointed. She's normally a high 40% shooter. And so that has to get better. I just think and her teammates have to get used to finding her. I mean, we missed her a couple wide open times. There was a possession while the game was still sort of a game down in front of their bench that they ended up with Vandersloot switched onto her, and we didn't even see it. I mean, so they're going to have to get used to having somebody with that size and ability in the post to get the ball to more readily.
Up top.
Mike, I know your teams, you like to hang your hat on defense for your teams. How did you feel the team performed in that aspect today?
In the half court, we were decent. And we forced them to, shoot under 37%. Normally that wins you a lot of games. I thought we were bad in transition. They got out and had some. I know the box score says they only had 9, but it felt like more. But I thought we did a poor job of getting back against Kalia Copper. Part of it, a couple times we would drive in and miss a layup, and we had bad floor balance, and she just outsprinting our team. They got us in a couple situations.
And Elena, another week, or is that indefinite?
Oh no, I don't think we're going to see her in the next week. I said yesterday to the media, I'm not counting on her until if she practices in another week, I'll be happy. I don't think it's imminent.
Thank you.
Alex?
Hey, Coach. I know you're saying with Elena being out for an extended period of time and the offensive display today that you clearly weren't happy with. Where's the level of concern at? I know this is only the first game of the season. What's kind of the message to the team coming out of this?
Well, I think one thing is that, we've been harping for the last few days, the sloppiness in finishing around the rim. So I think that's one of them. One of the things we've talked about as a coaching staff is that when Maisha gets here, it will kind of put some people in their natural, normal rotation spots. So if you start Maisha with Tina, you can play big or small. You can bring Theresa as your first post off the bench instead of in the starting lineup, or you could start her and play Maisha at the 3 and play big. You add that to Sydney Weiss just getting here last night at like 10 o'clock. She'll get some practices now. I think you'll see her have some minutes here And so, we'll get a little bit more rhythm just by putting Maisha into the lineup and by getting Sydney involved in the rotation too. Some people are going to have to earn their minutes right now. Unfortunately, we're giving some minutes right now out of necessity, but pretty soon it's going to become earning them.
And a super quick follow-up. I know we talked about yesterday the fact this was the first home game since the championship, and you guys got to raise the banner this afternoon. What was that moment like? How special was that for the team before the game?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was, special and emotional. I think a little bit maybe as much for the coaching staff and the fans, because there aren't that many players out there right now who are here for that. I mean, you have Elena and, Toya and Tosh and Ariel and Kiera, but Maisha isn't here. And then the others who just, have moved on. So, but I think it was great for our fans to kind of have that moment to see a banner come up. That was a great moment. And, brought back great memories too.
Thank you.
You bet.
Natalie?
Hi, Coach. Can you talk a little bit about what you liked from Theresa Plaisance and where you think she could improve after today's game?
Well, I think that I like the fact that she was aggressive. I think she did a good job on the defensive boards, but she's a 3-point shooter who won 1 for 8. So if she made 3 for 8 and somebody else made a couple more layups, then all of a sudden you're talking about a game down the stretch. And she's, I'm sure she's disappointed. That's all part of it. That's one of her roles. And, she hasn't played a lot of live basketball for a while. So again, first game with a new team, first game in that arena as a starting player for the Mystics. There's some nervousness to that, I guess. I'll attribute that to, at least for the first game or two. After that excuse goes out the window.
Winston?
Hey, Coach, hope all is well. I know you talked about getting shots and making those shots, but how pleased were you or unpleased were you with the fluidity of your offense? Do you think you were able to get the looks that you really, really wanted?
Well, I will say this. If you get wide open threes for the people who shoot threes and you get wide open layups inside, then, if you went back and tried to diagram where people should get open shots, you'd have to say, okay, I love those shots. We had a few that maybe were contested or a few bad shots, but I would say of our, I'll say 20 of our misses were what you would draw up and say, hey, please get us that shot. And so it's a little bit hard to judge because as a coach, if you get wide open things, you have to be happy. I don't think we're playing well enough from side to side and moving the ball with any, fluidity, to use the term, as far as, make them guard us here, swing it again, make them guard us on the other side. I think we have to get a lot better at that.
And secondly, Tina, back to her, she looked visibly upset at some of the shots or some of aspects of her game. What did you tell her afterwards?
I didn't really talk to her individually afterwards. I just said, hey, everybody has to go through this, first game. We're not going to make excuses. We got outplayed, but we also had plenty of opportunities that we didn't cash in on. And so our job is to, we know that we're in this for the long haul. We're not going to judge our team by what happened today. We're going to correct things by what happened today, but we're not going to judge us. I didn't expect us to be the best version of ourselves, and I don't expect it for a while. I just hope that every time out, I see us get better.
Thank you.
Last question to Gabe.
Hey, Coach, you kind of answered my question there, but I was wondering, how much can you take from this game and how do you balance keeping things in perspective while also trying to tweak things because of, the frustration you had to?
I think my job right now is to watch the tape, show them the things they did well that they can, build on, show them the things without wearing it out, but the things that we can correct, and go from there. I think my job is to be positive and to walk into practice on Monday and say, okay, we can do this, this, and this. and we'll be better. And then we got to put together a game plan for a really good Phoenix team. Tomorrow will be just a shooting day. We need a lot of shooting.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you.
Tina will be up shortly. Okay, so Jean.
Yeah, Tina, obviously not the results you wanted. Just could you kind of assess your debut with Washington?
I don't think it's about me right now. I think it's just about, the team and just what we have to do in general. Just figuring out what our process is going to be, getting more paint touches, especially when we're missing long shots. And that doesn't mean, forcing the ball inside. That's just penetrating, being aggressive, finding people cutting in the lanes, and then just being just as aggressive on defense, getting more of a flow into the offense. So sorry to curve your question, but I just think it's more about the team and what we have to do regardless.
How much with players unavailable, in the roster fluidity, how much do you think that played into the result today?
I don't think it. I mean, obviously, there's great players that they have for this team that's not here, but that's not something that we're thinking about. We're all pros. We all know what, if we're a star in our own role, like how long that can carry us until those individuals get back. And we didn't see that consistently enough tonight. So that's just something we have to change just moving forward, because these games are going to come quick. So just have to be better.
You.
Winston.
Hey, Tina, not to centralize it on yourself, but how good was it to finally be back out there on the court with just as a team, just to be out there? I know you've practiced, but as in a competitive nature, how good was it to be back out on the court?
It felt great to be back on the court. I'm always blessed and honored to be in this league for as long as I've been, to have the respect that I do. So I was very humbled. I was very thankful to be able to go out there and play and just stay healthy in the off season as well, to come in ready.
Secondly, the championship banner was raised today. Well, from the outside looking in, what was that like?
Well, we practiced on that court, and that banner has actually been there. I believe It was more so for the players, but I mean, it's not my first gym I've been in where there's banners. So I mean, it was just just what they had to do for their fans, and just in respect to them and just their support along the way. So,
thank you,
Alex.
Talking about today, the game specifically again, do you guys kind of chalk it up to, maybe not having quite the chemistry yet, or just being rusty from not, playing a regular season game in a while, or with the shooting struggles, and where's the level of concern at, with it just being only the first game?
Yeah, you could say, like, obviously we were not in the best flow as you are used to seeing with this organization. There's new players that are on this court that are playing together for the first time, and coming to this organization for the first time. So we have to take it in stride, but we're mature players and experienced enough players to like really lock in and hone in on what Coach T needs us to do, and trust in his process and what it's going to take our group to win games until these other players hopefully can get back in with us. So yeah, I'm not going to have to do anything else, but yeah, chemistry definitely does play a role.
I mean, kind of similar to what Winston was asking before, but just more specifically about the aspect of things moving towards normalcy. It's been almost 2 years for some players on this team since last time you guys have played games, and now having 25% capacity fans, I think it is. Just how cool is that? To just start kind of seeing things trickle back into being what it used to be a little bit.
Yeah, it's good. I think more so for, I didn't play in the bubble last year, as you know. So I think for the players here, it probably means a lot to them because they went through that experience of having no fans at all. So to me, unfortunately, some WNBA arenas when I first came in the league actually looked like this. So the fact that there are people here, like, I'm very appreciative either way. So I know they can get really loud and really packed in here, but it was good.
And one more for me, just kind of going off of what you just said. You've been in this league for a while. This is the 25th anniversary year. The sport is really, the league is really starting to grow even more now and get more recognition that it deserves. How cool is that to see? And what do you think about how much it's grown in the time that you've been in it?
Yeah, this league has definitely grown. I mean, from the time I came in, there's many examples I can use, but again, I'm just thankful that I'm still able to be here. Thankful for the ones that came before me who were able to, they had the pressure on their back to come out and perform and allow us to have 25 years. So I'm just thankful more so for those that came before me.
Thank you.
Christy?
Hey, Tina, I know that, the banner was raised today, and I know that you said you've been in arenas before where there have been banners, but I know from your discussions before this season, you have a long litany of accomplishments, but that championship is not one of them yet. Was there a moment when that was occurring that you kind of visualized and kind of conceptualized that moment occurring for you in a Mystics uniform?
To be completely honest with you, being the competitor that I am and that I wasn't on that team, I didn't feel any way. I was very happy for them and what they were able to accomplish, and they were able to have that moment just due to COVID. Weren't able to have a parade, weren't able to come together and really celebrate the way that you were able to do. But I was more so just locked in on the game. When it's my time, God willing, it'll be my time, and I could probably answer it more appropriately. But just a competitor I was just very like, this is nice. I wasn't on that team, so
I get it. But athletes
yeah.
are usually visual thinkers, and I was just wondering that because I think maybe I would have done that anyway. But just a really quick follow up on that, just with the game in general, just it being such a process, and it can be frustrating. I heard you say you did want the ball to get inside a little bit more, settling for jump shots a little too much there at the beginning of the second half, but what is that process like while you are in it? I know I don't want to use the word frustration because that can take you to a place where you're kind of stuck in the mud, but what is that emotion while you're in the process of getting over that hump?
It's tough, but I snap out of it just because I'm one of the leaders, one of the eldest ones here. So, I got to carry myself a certain way. I can't be pouting. I pouted on a couple of easy shots that I can make with my eyes closed. That was very frustrating for me. But I got to carry myself a certain way. But all we can do is just continue to be vocal to one another and take in what one another says that we see in the game and try to see if we can do that just to change the complexion of the game. And yeah, definitely for me, I felt like we could have got more paint touches because that's a higher percentage shot than all the shots that we were taking that we were consistently missing. Had a lot of lulls, so it had nothing to do with me needing paint touches, but more so like penetrate, kick, and just basically what Chicago was able to do. That makes a big difference. So just being more aggressive gets you in an aggressive nature. So yeah.
Absolutely. Understood. Yep. Getting the ball in the lane. I get you. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
And then last question to Kellen.
Hey, Tina. Kind of taking it off the court a little bit, but Russell Westbrook was at the game and he wore Elena's jersey the other night, and several NBA players have shown support for the WNBA in its 25th season. I guess just what does that support from your NBA peers mean to you?
It means a lot. Russ and I, our first Olympics was 2012, and I was able to have a really good relationship with him and converse and everything and get to know him. And it's cool to see him here within the organization. But it's really great. It's definitely expected, especially when you have someone like the late Kobe Bryant, who was just very pivotal in just setting the example and coming to games. And I think that definitely opened his other peers within the NBA before and here now and present to really catch on to support women's sports and just to support women, period. So it's great to see that people are still, and players like Russell Westbrook in his own light, just being very supportive.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Tina.
Thank you, guys. All right. Have a good one. Everybody.
If anyone has a question, please raise your hand. We'll start with Christy.
Hey, Theresa. I mean, obviously a frustrating performance just offensively with the droughts of production on that side of the court. But what did you come away from this game learning?
Coach said in the locker room that we had a ton of opportunities to make shots and, our shots just weren't falling today. And, what we take from today is that we have some things that we feel confident going to right now. And there's some things that we have to work on. And, there was a bunch of bright spots, I think, from our preseason games to today. We had a lot of growth. Defensively, being in the help side, I think we can always do a better job of being help side, knowing our defensive setups, things like that. But offensively, having more ball reversals and knocking down shots is something that we need to do to have continuous offense and be able to, play more fluidly with one another.
Alex?
Hey, Theresa, I know this is, not the result you guys wanted today, but the first game out of 32, a long way to go, and you guys are still developing chemistry, still some players to come back, key players as well. Where do you guys kind of evaluate yourselves right now after this tough result today, and what are your kind of thoughts going forward on that?
I think we're gonna take some time tomorrow, get some treatment, get some shots up, get into a flow, trying to find our rhythm within that, and watch some film and try to make corrections on the little things that we have control over. And, some days you're gonna be hot, and some days you're just gonna break shots like we did today. But we can always take care of the little things, and we can do a much better job on our defensive assignments when it comes to who we're switching with, who we're gonna defend straight up, being in the help side, offensively getting ball reversals, and playing to the backside of our offense a little bit more. I feel like I fell short getting the ball to the other side and through the floor player and getting it to the other side and playing on the weak side, and getting some kind of continuous offense from side to side. The ball stuck a lot. We were trying to look for the open person, and sometimes our first game we didn't get it as fluidly as we wanted. So I think that we want to work on the things that make us who we are, and that's finding the open person, getting ball reversals, and playing it out of that.
Thank you.
John?
Hey, Theresa, it was
Hey,
great
John.
to see you out there getting the start for the first time since the 2019 season. And you also put up a lot of minutes just based off of your injury history in the past. How are you feeling coming out of this game? And what are you looking forward to with your future with the Mystics?
I felt really good today. It was a very special moment to come out of 2 back surgeries and struggle through the bubble and struggle through some of the off season, try to get healthy. And I put in a lot of work and a lot of time to have this moment. And I just feel really proud to be able to step on the court with a healthy body and be able to contribute and help this team out. This is a really great organization. I think today is just the beginning of something really good. As far as playing, it just, to see where I was through the bubble, to see where I was in December, I couldn't even sit down at times. I was either standing up or laying down. I was just in a ton of pain. And to be able to get on the court and get into a defensive stance and run up and down and stride without any pain is something that was my goal. And to be able to do it at a high level and for the Washington Mystics is something that is extremely special for me, because at times I didn't think that I'd be able to do it again. And I just really appreciate everybody that took the time to help me out, help me get my body right to get to this point. And I just want to continue to grow and become more secure in my new frame. I want to be more secure in how I'm feeling and just grow off of that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Natalie?
So while the game obviously wasn't perfect, the front court, you, Tina, and Erica were all able to find success, both rebounding and shooting. What does that mean for the rest of the season, and how would you all like to improve?
I think that we have a lot of weapons on our team that we're very capable in every single position. We can go deep into our bench. Everybody's extremely capable. Offensively, I think you just saw us getting a bulk of the opportunities based off of what the guards were creating. Every time that we catch the ball, it's due to a good screen, a good roll, and a good find, or a great entry pass or something of that nature. So getting the guards more involved is something that we need to do, especially through reversal. We weren't getting a lot of reversals, so we were seeing a lot of offense just being stuck on one side. And I think once we start playing more fluently through the reversal and getting the ball to the other side and having the defense having to shift, I think we'll see a lot more success offensively as well.
Shibata.
Hello. Thank
Hi.
you for your time. I'm calling from Tokyo, Japan. So it's 4:30 a.m. So very
Well, thank
good
you for
morning.
staying up. Oh, I can't hear you.
Oh.
There we go.
So can you hear me?
Yes,
So
I can.
okay. So again, thank you for your time. And I am just wondering, what kind of situation is that around you in terms of the COVID-19 situation? So I want to know how much does it affect your game at the start of this season, the COVID-19 situation?
After coming from the bubble, I feel like the situation that we're in this year is quite different. We're still very focused on keeping all the players healthy, keeping staff healthy, wearing our masks, doing everything as clean and as COVID protocol as possible. There are some things that are a little bit different, but coming from the bubble where there were no fans, you just saw your team, opposing teams, and coaching staff and referees every single day. This is a little bit more normal, being able to get a pregame meal and choosing what you want to eat, being able to go home and shower and just doing the little things like that it's definitely nice. As far as COVID protocols, I don't think that it really affects our basketball. Wearing the mask on the bench and things like that is a little different, but as far as COVID goes, I feel like the precautions that we're taking are good and that it's not affecting our basketball.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Theresa.
Thank you.
You're good.
Thank you. All right, baby. Did you get a pull something? Yeah.
Hey, Tosh, obviously a very different roster from the last time you were on the court here. How much can you attribute that to kind of the result today, the roster change and kind of players who are unavailable, that type of thing?
Yeah, obviously we have an MVP that's out. We have Maisha that, in my mind, was the most improved player in the bubble last year, and we're missing them. Those are huge pieces to our team and what we do, and so we're trying to hold it down in their absence. There's a lot of things that our starting five needs to be better at, but from where we were in mini to where we were today, there's a lot of good things that we can take, and we're going to continuously come back every day and just try to get that 1% better.
And for you personally, just how did it feel to be back on the court after opting out last season?
It felt really good. I felt good for the most part. I got to be able to knock down some shots there, but overall, I felt like myself today. And so that leaves me with a lot of confidence just going into the beginning of this season.
And as a player with the ball in your hands a lot, how much responsibility do you feel incorporating players around you and getting the chemistry kind of jump started?
A lot. It's my job as the point guard to lead. It's my job as the vocal leader of this team to lead. So a lot of that falls on me. A lot of getting people good shots and putting people in successful situations is on me. And I don't take that lightly. I'm finding the balance of me being aggressive and making the defense stay true to me and setting my teammates up for a successful shot. So it's a process for me, but I'm gonna be better. I'm gonna make sure that we get Tina more touches and easier touches, that she's not going in the double teams every time. So, I'm not worried. We don't need to be worried. This is a marathon, it's not a sprint. We knew coming into this that it wasn't going to be how we started, but how we finished. So we're just taking it day by day.
Thank you.
Christy?
Hey, Tosh, you mentioned that.
I like that jersey, girl. Yes.
I mean, a lot of respect,
okay.
Respect for today in particular. So with what you said about things that you have improved upon from Minnesota, what are those things specifically that you saw improvement in?
You wouldn't believe me if I told you, but our defense actually did get better from Minnesota game. I think when fatigue kicked in, we started to go to our own islands and didn't necessarily protect the paint, because Chicago, they didn't kill us on the outside. They killed us getting paint touches and, dishing off to their bigs. So our defense got better. There's a little bit more fluidity in our offense, but we still need to be better, especially coming in out of timeouts, coming and calling plays from the free throw line. Those are times that we need to be able to execute going down the other end of the floor.
Right. And just a quick follow-up, when you saw the banner unfurled today with a percentage of fans in the ESA, walk us through what you were thinking about when you saw that happening and the spirit of that moment. What was that like for you?
Yeah, it definitely takes you back. We never really got to celebrate our championship here in DC. And so I'm hoping that when we progress from COVID, we'll still be able to have that moment with our fans and really just embrace it, because we never got it. So seeing that banner unveil, it reminds you, what we're here for and the end goal. Because sometimes in the brink of a season, it's really hard to lose what that goal is. So it was a really cool moment for us, just to share that with our fans. But, that's the goal, is to bring another championship back to DC.
Thank you.
Kellen.
Hey, Tosh.
Hi, Kellen.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. This might be too early for this question, but I was just thinking, back in 2019, last time you played with the team, that identity, maybe from the outside, was this is a very offensive team. And I know that you yourself took pride in the defense. Obviously, it's early on in the season, but what is the identity of this year's team, you feel?
I think we're figuring it out. Our goal is to win the day every day when we come in this gym. Win the day, whether that means being better at practice, being 1% better individually and collectively. It's to win the day. But our identity is going to be both ends of the floor. We got to be able to play both ends of the floor. We're not making shots right now. Those shots are going to fall, though. We're still getting conditioned. We're still, feeling each other out. So shots are going to fall. We're getting really good looks at the basket. It's just they're not dropping right now. But we have to be a defensive minded team. We got to be able to get stops on the other end of the floor, so that it allows us to flow into offense more easily. If we can get stops, our offense will come from our defense. And so for me, the identity is always defense first.
Thanks, Tosh.
Erica.
Hey, Tosh, Erica here. I actually wanted to, hey, how you doing? I wanted to ask you about the 144. So that just premiered for everyone. And I think, coming into the season, there was a lot of reasons to talk about the WNBA, but specifically thinking about that film, that it comes from an executive producer that's from the league. What have been your reactions to other people reacting to the film itself and the experience that a lot of the players in the Wubble had last season?
Yeah, I don't think people truly know or knew what the bubble truly entailed, the Wubble entailed. So I think it gave everyone a close glimpse of exactly what happened in the bubble and what those women had to go through, especially we're a league made of majority of Black women. So, you're taking a bunch of people away from their families, away from their friends during one of the most traumatic times in our country. And so it was really difficult, but what they were able to do, what they were able to accomplish within that Wubble is something special and something that, professional sports will talk about for years to come. And so I'm really proud to be of 144. Yes, I wasn't in the bubble, but there's no right way to fight social reform and social justice. And, what I did by sitting out of the bubble was just as important as those women that went into the bubble. But, you talk about Janae, and she's a phenomenal woman that's just continuously breaking barriers and progressing that needle forward for women in that entertainment industry. And so for her to, really take that and make that her baby and how great it came out, we're just really proud of her as well.
And then just a quick follow-up. I mean, as you mentioned, you weren't in the Wubble, so some of that you're seeing for the first time, likely not hearing about it for the first time. But what were some things that maybe were surprising or inspiring to you about what you saw that the players experienced in the Wubble?
Yeah, I mean, nothing was, obviously I wasn't in the Wubble, but, I was still a part of this Mystics organization. So I made sure that while I was gone, I was still present. So I knew pretty much everything that was going on. But I think the beautiful part about our league is, there's so many different women for so many different backgrounds. But it doesn't matter because we always come together with a common ground, with a common purpose, and we understand that our platform is God-given and that we can make a lot of movements and change within this platform, not only individually, but collectively together. And so, that wobble was extremely powerful, and it's no secret. Our administration changed because of what that wobble did and what professional sports did over the summer.
Becca?
Hey Tosh, how's it going?
What's up, Becca?
Good, good. So I just wanted to ask you, Russell Westbrook was courtside today, and he's obviously been, huge support so far. And he also announced today that he has a new empowerment colorway shoes that's actually inspired by the WNBA color scheme. And I just wanted to know, what does it mean to have that sort of support, like from a guy like him?
Yeah, first and foremost, I think y'all have a responsibility too, as the media, to portray people in the right light. And I feel like for far too long, Russell has been in that light of being turned into this villain, and he's far from it. His first day here, he showed up 2 hours. He introduced himself to everyone in the building. I actually arrived late. This man stopped in front of my car, saw that I was sitting in my car waiting for my COVID test to come out. He got out of his car and said, "Hi, I've been officially met you. I'm Russell." Like, the villains don't do that. Villains don't support the W the way that Russell does. Villains don't come and sit courtside and support us in every facet. So he's a phenomenal person that understands our struggles as women and is trying to do his job with his platform to make sure that he's pushing us forward too. He's a powerful man. He's just a really good dude. Like, the things that he does, he doesn't need to broadcast it. And I think that makes him so special, is he does things behind the scenes without even wanting acknowledgement for it, of bettering our community. And he's Mr. Triple Double. The fact that he's able to put this team on his back, especially this last couple of days with Brad being out, it's a blessing to have him here. It's a blessing to be able to watch him in real time, in real life, and to have that relationship and that dynamic between our two teams. It's something that I don't take for granted, and I truly appreciate to him. So thank you, Russ, for being who you are.
Thanks, Tosh.
Mm-hmm.
And then last question to Shibata.
Hello.
How you
Can you hear
doing?
me? How you doing? I'm good, and I'm calling from Tokyo, Japan.
Okay.
So I'm just curious about, you're talking about Russell Westbrook and the wonderful black Mamba jersey at the moments ago. So I'm just wondering if you have any impression on Rui Hachimura, Washington Wizards Japanese player. Are you actually in touch with him?
I need to be more in touch with him. I was actually a really big fan when we drafted him out of Gonzaga. I loved watching him make that college push his last year. So he's been phenomenal for our team. I think that when he really progresses and really reaches his ceiling, he's going to be a really scary player. He's so versatile. He can stretch the floor. He can bang down in the post. He's a good defender as well. So we have a lot of really good guys on this roster over here on the Wizards. And so it makes it really special to be able to come in here and have those genuine relationships. And again, we can learn a lot from them as they can learn a lot from us. And so that's really cool to have.
Okay.
But I also love how Rui really pays homage to his culture. I think that's something that's really special, and it gives us a little bit of a unique feel to our Wizards team, is how, proud he is of where he came from.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Thanks, Tosh.
Thank y'all.
Woo.